Support for SportsPage is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Straight ahead on this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll visit with Mules football coach Jim Svoboda as the Mules get set to close out the 2012 season this Saturday at Fort Hays State. Mules basketball tips off the exhibition portion of their season this Saturday at Austin Peay, and we'll preview the upcoming Hoops campaign with head coach Kim Anderson. In our Sports Page Student Athlete Spotlight, we'll get to know Mules senior punter Matt Jordan, and we'll also take a look at a new partnership between UCM Athletics, the Department of Communication and Sociology, and KMOS-TV that gives UCM students hands-on experience in the field of sports broadcasting. So stay tuned. Your weekly inside look at UCM Mules and Jenny Sports is next. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for watching the University of Central Missouri Sports Page. I'm Sean Jones, and joining me to kick off the show is Mules football coach Jim Svoboda. Coach Svoboda, welcome back.
Hi, Sean.
I know it's been a challenging couple of weeks for
has.
Mules football. How are you, your staff, and the players doing, and how are you trying to get everybody kind of refocused and re-energized for the final game of the season?
Well, we're trying not to measure ourselves by a couple of games. You know, there's been some outstanding things that have happened in the season, and I think that you know, one of the traps is just, you know, trying to measure yourself just by a couple of games, and when in fact, you know, the kids have really done some outstanding things, and you know, take a close look at why it's going on. You know, our last 3 losses, we've been ahead or tied in the fourth quarter, and clearly, you know, we need to find out how to close those games.
One thing that's been clear to me, which is a positive sign, is it's not an effort issue. You know, even as the announcer, if I thought the kids had quit, I'd be disappointed, you know,
right.
travailing all over the country to watch this team, and so would the fans. Effort's not been the issue.
Effort has not been the issue. Our kids have, you know, just fought all year long. Been very proud of them. They can hold their head high from that standpoint, and you know, on the other hand, that makes it more difficult because that puts the, you know, the finger right back at the coaches, and we got to do a better job with these kids, help them negotiate these rough waters that they're in, and keep swinging.
Confidence is such a fragile thing. This is the same team that beat Northwest Missouri, who's the number 3 ranked team in the country and is going to have a good chance, I think, along with Western in our region, to go a long way in the playoffs. This team beat that team. Boy, every coach ought to have to take psychology classes. I don't know how you do it sometimes to convince these guys that they're the same group that did that.
Well, it's a slippery slope. It really is. It's a fragile thing, and the only, you know, I've been through struggles before. You know, I've been coaching 30 years, and so the only thing I know how to do is just to keep swinging, and then, you know, that's the only way to finally have a breakthrough is just to, you know, stay positive and don't quit, and, you know, so there's good lessons in that. You don't want this to be a habit with the program. That's not you know, what we had in mind when we came here, clearly, and we've you know, demonstrated that we can take this thing to new heights, and that's still our ambition. So you just got to keep battling. Clearly, the bar has been set at a high standard because this team is 5-4, and everybody's kind of been moping around and feeling, oh, the things aren't going very well. That's a whole lot better than the reverse of that and feeling good about it. Well, that's true, and you know, but it is difficult, and we're not going to apologize for aiming high and not being satisfied with that record, certainly, and you know, and it is a challenge with the league that we're in. So you know, there's a downside to having high expectations, and when it goes the other way, everybody kind of scratches their head and says, you know, is this really happening to us, and is this the same team? And so I think that makes it very challenging as a coaching staff and as a program to reel that thing back in, and as you mentioned, say, you know, look, this is the same team that, you know, has come from behind, had, you know, last minute scoring drives, and, you know, beat a highly ranked team, and, you know, a number of other things in the season.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights from Senior Day. The Mules hosting Nebraska-Kearney out at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field. Here's the first thing. I can't believe I just said that was Senior Day. The season goes so quickly. These guys work all year long for those limited opportunities to play. 10 or 11 guaranteed opportunities in the season seems to just fly right by.
It does. It's amazing, and here we are in week 10. It's already in November. We've had Halloween, and it's you know, we're going to be into the recruiting season in a minute.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights here, and good first possession to this game. Very efficient, very crisp, moving down the field.
Moved right down the field and scored, and that's what you hope to do, and you're, you know, to get on top early.
Here you see the Mules on that first drive on Senior Day at Walton Stadium, Kennedy Field. Get it out to Levance Taylor, such a great athlete. Took a big hit there. Good to see him pop right up.
He's a tough kid.
And certainly toughness tested against this UNK team. That's a big squad you played.
Yeah, they're good-sized guys, and you know, they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback with their blitzing package.
Blitzed a lot in the game, and we'll talk about that throughout. There you see the touchdown, David Cannon, 5 yards, extra point good. Mules with the 7-0 lead. Now, what you won't see is a play where Nebraska-Kearney's quarterback was hit by Pat Lewis. Ball came loose, picked up by David Bax, headed the other way. Looked like the Mules were on their way to maybe 13-0, 14-0. The play was blown dead, and obviously that kind of changes the complexion of the game and how the game formulated from that point. So the Mules here in this early game, seesaw battle with the football thrown over the middle. Unfortunately, Sam Cook, the preseason All-American for the Lopers, with the interception there. So the Lopers set up shop with short field position, and they'll get on the board with a field goal from Drew Farley at the halfway mark of the second quarter to make it 7-3. You know, it was really a test of wills. They wanted to run it, you wanted to throw it. There wasn't much the other team could do the other way, so it was a unique game to watch from that perspective.
It was definitely a contrast, and they did a nice job with their option game.
You know, the bad news about that is because they ran the ball behind their big O-line, it skewed the time of possession and limited our possession opportunities.
It really did, you know, especially in the third quarter there. I think the overall time possession was 23-37 or something like that.
So the Lopers get a safety there, 7-5 the score, but here come the Mules. A good quick strike drive here as Ryan Reed Lloyd catches the long pass from Colt Smith. This drive, Coach, 1 minute and 2 seconds, 61 yards. Good way to close the half.
You know, we've done that. You look at what you'd like to do is, you know, start the game with a score and end the half with a score, and we did those things.
There's David Cannon, the preseason All-American. He had 9 catches and a touchdown in this one. As you can see there, he is a tough guy to bring down, taking 3 Lopers to do it. There's the field goal from Jamison, the senior. That's from 32 yards out, and it's 10-5. What's your message at the half to the team?
Well, our message is that, you know, we've been in this position before, and let's stay aggressive, you know, we're playing solid defense in terms of getting them out of the end zone, and you know, you always want to score on that first possession if you can.
And a good kick return here for the Mules. And again, that's Levance Taylor, just a sophomore on this team. So many of these skill guys, redshirt freshmen, sophomores. So the good news is we're going to see these guys back and probably be a little bit bigger and stronger when we see them next time.
That's the plan.
There you see the touchdown run for UNK as Matt Berry goes in from 4 yards out. Now they fail on their 2-point conversion because of the score. Good defensive stand there, and it's 11-10 Lopers at this point. Lopers using that ground attack behind that big line of those tough, big Nebraska kids. And Berry, a guy who's really a running back, wide receiver, athlete, quarterback, if you will, this time goes in from 10 on this drive, a short drive, to make it 18-10. So they had the 2-possession lead, but the Mules were not done. Mules fighting back. Boy, some nifty footwork on the sideline there by Anthony Kirkwood. He does such a good job of getting yards after the catch.
He's a good guy in space, that's for sure. He's got quick feet and he's tough.
And again, fighting ahead for some extra yardage and trying to use those quicks to help the Mules move the ball down the field. You have to say, this was a really solid answer drive and a good drive from your team. 12 plays, 65 yards. Kyson Ginnivan on the touchdown, his first career touchdown on Senior Day, so you go for 2. Really, everything going really well for you here.
I thought that was a cool drive. We answered, went down the field, got a 2-point conversion. We're in great shape, got a lot of momentum going right now.
There's the 2-point conversion. We are tied at 18, but again, in the fourth quarter, Nebraska-Kearney, a key to this one, they just churned it out behind their O-line, not passing much at all. Threw for 25 yards in the game, got a great back, and gave it to him here. He gets in from 12 yards out with 5:36 to go. And the kick was blocked by the Mules to make it 24-18. Mules had a couple chances after good stops by the defense late, but weren't able to get it in the end zone, as you once again see the final score there as Nebraska-Kearney wins the ball game by a score of 24-18. The Mules 5-4 overall, 5-4 in the MIAA. And this week it is a trip to Fort Hays State, and it's the game that carries you into a long off season. So I know that adds a little extra to it.
It does, and we'd really like to end this thing with a win for these fine senior players that we have given so much to the program. You know, it's going to be the last time these guys play football in their life for the most part, and you'd certainly like to have them go out on a positive note.
And you know, you look at Fort Hays State, and they're doing a good job in the second year of their program. Chris Brown, a guy who was a great player at Pitt State in his second year out there close to home. He's from Liberal, Kansas. They've won 3 in a row. Now, they're 4-5, but they started down here with their program, and they are fired up to host the Mules, winners of 3 straight. We're 5-4. We got to make sure our guys come in with energy and enthusiasm.
Well, you know, we've talked about it, and you know, it's just again, it goes back to us. You know, they got their thing going out there, and you know, we're trying to swing our way out of our situation right now and stay positive with it. There's way more positive going on than there is negative, as you mentioned, and as we've discussed. It's not a quit issue with the players, and you just gotta have that breakthrough and keep playing, you know, solid football.
This is our last visit of the season, so I want to know what happens after this game. What are the next few weeks like for the coaches and for the returning players?
Well, it's a lot of work in both cases, and you know, certainly evaluate what's going on with your program, what your needs are in terms of recruiting, and so the coaches, you know, we've already actually done a lot of that, and so most of the coaches will be hitting the road literally like after the game on Saturday in terms of recruiting. The players, you know, will take a little bit of time off, but you know, it's really back in the weight room for them, and you know, start work for next season.
It's interesting too. You've been at the BCS level at UCLA, and big staffs at that level, and so you've got guys who are great X's and O's guys, and then you've got guys that are great recruiters. At this level, with 5 full-time guys, everybody's got to be really good at both, don't they?
You got to wear a lot of hats, and that's true, and you know, it requires a lot of energy. People outside looking in, they say, well, football's over, what are you going to do now? And my response is always, well, the fun stuff is done, and now we got to work. And you know, recruiting is just a lot of hours, a lot of contact with you know, as many players as you can. It's travel, it's away from the family. It's really intense till February 1st, which is the first Wednesday in February, which is signing date. And so literally, coaches really, you know, you have 1 or 2 weekends when the season starts. You have 1 or 2 weekends off from August to about June.
Take us through the steps. You mentioned it's really now through February in terms of signing day and the high school kids. Just in general, what are the steps? Is it film evaluation next week and then out on the road, or are you out on the road doing both? Take us through it.
Well, you know, a lot of that's been going on already in terms of film evaluation. Of course, that's gotten a lot easier. You have more access to film now with YouTube and some different services that are out there, so you can get film a lot faster than the old days when you had to worry about them mailing it to you. And so now it's instant, it's over the internet, and so you know, you do your evaluations. You know, prior to that, however, you got to set your priorities. What do you need? What do we need to be successful next year? And so, and usually that implies, you know, going out and recruiting some junior college players, some guys that can make an impact right away. So it's really twofold. What do you need in terms of junior college players, and then in terms of the future of the program, high school players? And so it's difficult, but we're in that situation right now where you got to serve 2 masters in terms of recruiting both junior colleges and high schools. At some point, we'd like to not have to rely so much on junior colleges, but that's not our current state right now.
Relationship process too. A, you've got to have a relationship, or your assistants do, with a particular coaching staff, and then B, you have to establish that relationship with the prospective student athlete. So that's an interesting dance, isn't it?
It is, you know, and it starts with identifying. You want to get the right people, and then, you know, the recruiting process is, as it implies, you recruit that player and you know, try to give him as many reasons as possible to you know, go to your school, and you're also trying to find out more about him too, and his family and his background and those kinds of things, make sure it's a good fit.
This year we saw a lot of redshirt freshmen and sophomores playing, particularly I think at the skill positions, secondary, maybe those were the areas where we saw a lot of young guys. I've heard from your coaching staff throughout the season that they feel really good too about this group of freshmen currently redshirting. So I assume you expect several of those guys to step in and take a big role next year as redshirt freshmen. We do, and it's like I said, you know, I'm trying to think long term for the program, and so you know, we're not in the place that I thought we would be exactly right now, but you know, given the type of conference that we play in and so forth, you know, it is going to be a challenge. And when you make the transition, you know, when Coach Fritz was here, you know, he had a bunch of guys that were a bunch of junior college players that were in their second year, and those kids were hungry and very talented, and so you know, clearly added to a lot of the success that we had in our first season here. And then, you know, now really starts the building process. You don't want to lose ground while you're doing that, clearly. But at the same time, you want to be in a situation where, you know, year in and year out, you got an outstanding program, and you know, it takes time to get to that point when it's been a situation that has had a lot of two-year players in it. You going out and looking for particular needs, or hey, if you just have a chance at a great player at any position, you take them? Well, to me, recruiting is all about prioritizing and filling the needs that you have, and sometimes that means you gotta not take that guy, you know, if it's not a position that you really need, because you have, obviously, for those people that don't know, we have the equivalent of 36 scholarships to spread out. You know, we have 120 players on our team. Obviously, not all those kids get scholarships. We have a number of walk-ons, but about 80 of them do. And so, getting some kind of money. And so, you know, you got to make sure that, you know, you see who's leaving the program, how much scholarship money that leaves you. You know, usually you have X amount. You know, you might have 7 or 8 or 9 in a particular year. Some goes to junior college, some goes to high school kids. Well, Coach, I know you'll be on the road recruiting next week. Let's get win number 6, make it a winning season, end on a good note, and best of luck. Thanks for the visits all year long. Thank you. Appreciate it, Sean. Coming up next here on Sports Page, we'll get to know Mules senior punter Matt Jordan, and our student athlete spotlight on the Ozark product is next, right here on KMOS-TV.
Hi, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Next time on Market Warriors, we're in Canton, Texas, where Miller holds class in the back of a truck.
Looks like there was some in painting right here.
See, I'm getting an education from you too.
All's well that ends well.
Didn't look too good at the beginning, but it came out okay.
Until Bob makes a stunning accusation.
You lied and cheated your way in?
This is Market Warriors, not Market Wallflowers.
It's all next time on Market Warriors.
Hello, I'm Judy Woodruff. On Election Night, PBS NewsHour is your trusted source for in-depth news, analysis, and results. On air, online, and on the go. Together with the rest of the NewsHour politics team, Gwen Ifill, Mark Shields, David Brooks, and Christina Bellantoni. We'll bring you analysis and results throughout the evening. So tune in to PBS NewsHour, your Election Night headquarters.
Mr. Platt is taking a ladyship and Lady Grantham down to the village. She wondered if you'd like to go in.
After all that we've been through together, Bates and I owe him my loyalty!
The PBS Masterpiece Classic hit Downton Abbey is coming to Columbia. On December 16th, KMOS-TV is hosting a special screening of Downton Abbey Season 3 at the Mecklenburg Playhouse on the campus of Stevens College in Columbia. The screening is free, but space is limited, so call 1-800-753-3436 now to reserve your seats for this very special screening. Thank you. Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. In this segment, we shine the student-athlete spotlight on Mules senior punter Matt Jordan.
Well, I got my start in football being around my dad, who was a coach for 30 years at the high school I went to, in Ozark High School in Southwest Missouri. And, you know, I got to be a ball boy since he was a coach, and, you know, I got to be around, you know, all the high school guys who at the time seemed, you know, bigger than life. And I really fell in love with the sport, you know, being around it with him, and pretty much everything I know just came from him, and being around, watching older guys and being around different coaches that, you know, were around me whenever I grew up. So it was a good thing to be around the sport at such a young age and really learn it from a coach's perspective. Since I've been around, you know, football, these coaches have probably been some of the closest relationships I've ever had with a coach, and the fact that you can just really tell how much these coaches care about you and how much they want you to succeed, and you know, they really do their best every week to make sure that we are in the best possible position to do the best we can in the game. So when game time comes around, we don't have to worry about what we've learned or what we've gone over that week. We already know it so well because of their instruction that we can just go out and play fast and do what we're supposed to do without having to think twice about it. You know, there's a lot of good guys on this team this year. We have a great chemistry. We faced some adversity this year on this year's team compared to last, and we've had to fight through a lot this year. You know, it's been a lot of ups and downs, and we've definitely come together and grown stronger as a team just by, you know, fighting through that adversity and finding ways to overcome the challenges that we've had to face. UCM was just a really good choice for me because of the proximity to my home. It's 2 hours away from my house, so it's not too far, but it's close enough that if I want to go home, I can still go home. You know, I was really attracted by the football program here. You know, they've had some success. They were a strong team, and I initially came here too for baseball, and I played baseball for 2 years. It just was a really cool deal for me to be able to do two sports. Eventually I had to go with football just because of, you know, time and, you know, schoolwork. So, but UCM, the campus is great, the teachers, the professors are great. You know, they do what they can to help you succeed, and they really want you to graduate. So it was just all around, my first couple visits to UCM just really sold me on this was the school for me. Favorite memory probably being here at UCM, besides just football in general, because the brotherhood I've formed with these guys here on the football team is second to nothing in my life, and these guys are the best group of people that I've ever been around, as well as the coaches. And I would say probably this year's win over Northwest Missouri State was a great memory. You know, I've been here for 5 years now, and we've been kind of trying to get that monkey off our back, you know, trying to get over that hump, and this year we finally did it, and we did it as a team, and we did it together. All phases of the game played well, and it was just a great win, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. I would just like to say thanks to the community of Warrensburg for supporting us at our games, and you know, we have a great fan base. We always have the highest attendance in the conference, and those are good numbers to have as a football team, because you always need fans. You know, without the fans, it's not really a game. You know, it wouldn't be anything. So, and then the coaching staff for definitely giving us and me anything that I would ever need to be successful, working with me, and you know, Coach CY, Coach Josh Christian Young, he's just a great help as far as being the special teams coach, or special teams coordinator, I guess. He's in charge of our position group, and he's always been there for me and got me any film that I would ever want to watch or anything else like that for technique. And then Zach and Aaron and the rest of the special teams guys for being there to help me mentally and technically, and then my parents and my family. You know, my dad and my mom are the two greatest fans anyone could ever have, and they'd do anything for me, and I know that, and it's made it a lot easier to make it through this time in my life, these 4 or 5 years that have been mentally and physically taxing on me.
Jordan is second in the MIAA, averaging 43 yards per punt, with 21 punts down inside the 20-yard line. The Ozark product is also outstanding in the classroom, earning a 3.72 GPA in biology. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues right after this.
Hi, I'm Mark Wahlberg. Next time on Market Warriors, we're in Canton, Texas, where Miller holds class in the back of a truck.
Looks like there was some in-painting right here.
See, I'm getting an education from you too.
All's well that ends well.
Didn't look too good at the beginning, but it came out okay.
Until Bob makes a stunning accusation.
You lied and cheated your way in?
This is Market Warriors, not Market Wallflowers.
It's all next time on Market Warriors.
I choose to be independent, to blaze my own trail. I choose what to create, how to organize, and where to share.
Choose Red began as an inspiration and has grown into a way of life. Ever since the Choose Red campaign began in January 2011, students have been at the heart of the effort. All of our ads feature current UCM students. Who better to tell the UCM story than those who have experienced what it means to choose Red and the opportunities they've had because of that choice. In August of 2012, the office responsible for development of the campaign held open auditions in the Elliott Union. University Relations staff members met more than 100 talented students who made the decision to choose Red. The students shared their stories and their talents with us in hopes of being able to become part of the official Choose Red campaign. UCM students who audition will have the chance to be in any number of Choose Red campaign materials, such as TV commercials, 30-second radio spots, web videos, billboards, brochures, ads, and numerous print publications. Even Central Man stopped by to add to the fun and excitement of Choose Red Auditions 2012. With so many students willing to be part of the campaign, it's no wonder a record number of students have once again decided to choose Red.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And we'll start with the Jennies volleyball team. The 7th-ranked Gens picked up a 3-0 victory over SBU last Friday night at Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multi. On Saturday, the Jennies traveled to St. Charles and defeated Lindenwood 3-1. Last night, the Jennies were in Maryville to take on Northwest Missouri State and came away with a 3-1 win. Julia Bates had 37 assists, 10 digs, and 5 kills in the win. The Jennies are now 21-4, 13-1 in the MIAA. They're tied atop the conference standings with Nebraska-Kearney. And congratulations to the MIAA champion Jennies soccer team. Last Thursday, they won a big match over Truman 1-0, then clinched their 3rd straight MIAA title and 5th in the last 6 years with a 4-0 win over Lindenwood on Saturday. The Jennies won the league with a 10-0-2 MIAA mark. Tuesday night, the Jennies opened postseason play, hosting SBU in the opening round of the MIAA tournament. The match was tied at 2 after 2 overtimes, and the Jennies won 3-1 in the shootout as freshman goalkeeper Morgan Hartzler from Kearney came up with 2 big saves and goal as the Gens advanced to host Northeastern State Friday at 3 in the tournament semifinals. The 12th-ranked Jennies now 14-1-4 overall, and they are the #1 ranked team in this week's NCAA Central Regional Rankings. The 6th-ranked Jennies bowling team took first place in the McKendree NCAA duels last weekend in Fairview Heights, Illinois. Natalie Jimenez won the individual title with a 239.2 average. Mules basketball is getting set to open the 2012-2013 season and begin defense of their MIAA title. Joining us now to preview his 11th year as head coach is the winningest coach in Mules basketball history, Kim Anderson. Coach A, welcome back.
Jonesy, good to be here. Year number 11.
Year number 11?
I've done a few of these.
Our first of many visits in year number 11. How have things gone after 2.5 weeks of practice?
Good. I think, of course, we have a large group of returners. We have 8 seniors, so you know, everything you kind of throw at them, we've already done, and I think it's made for a shorter practices, crisp at times, and at times we've been a little ragged, but I've been pleased with the way that they've worked, and I think they all, you know, while proud of winning a conference championship a year ago, I think they feel like they want to do more, and hopefully as time goes on we'll be able to prove that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that hunger. It's kind of rare when you win a conference title to say you've got a hungry group with something to prove, but they won the MIAA title but didn't get that chance to make a run in the NCAA tournament, so you've got 8 seniors that I think want to make a statement.
Yeah, that doesn't happen often. It's not, especially with a conference like ours, the MIAA, where you win you win a share of the conference championship and then you don't make the national tournament. So I think that did leave a bitter taste in their mouths. And I know during the off season they've worked extremely hard. You could tell when they came back that almost all of them were in good shape. So that hasn't been a factor. We haven't had to spend a lot of time doing that, and we've been able to spend most of our time on basketball.
How would you describe this team and what it's going to take for them to be successful?
Well, experience. We're experienced. I think the thing that this team will have to do is offensively develop probably a better chemistry than we did a year ago. I think that, and not necessarily their fault, it's just when we recruited these guys, they were all scorers, and now we're asking some of them not to not shoot, but not to shoot all the time, and that's been a challenge. I think that was a challenge last year. It necessitated some lineup changes at times. Not bad guys, just guys that have always played a certain way, and I'm hopeful that they understand now that, hey, we got to make that extra pass, and we got to get the ball inside more, and instead of shooting in the first 5 seconds, if we don't have a good shot, then we got to learn how to handle it. So I certainly don't want to walk the ball up the floor, but I do think developing chemistry is going to be a key part to this team.
Obviously, another important thing in the early going is installing your offense and your defense. I would assume with 8 seniors, you've been able to move along fairly quickly in that process.
Well, we have. We're actually in a position now, I think we're pretty much set to play, which is good since we're playing in a couple days. But, we've already had a scrimmage and against William Jewell, and that went pretty well for us. So we're into our offensive stuff pretty far along now, and I think ultimately what we'd be able to do is maybe do some different things that we haven't been able to do in the past because we don't have to spend as much time on the basics.
We're taking a look at some practice footage from earlier this week over at Garrison Gym in the Student Rec and Wellness Center. There's Charles Hamrick, a newcomer, a guy you're expecting big things from.
Yeah, a good player, a guy who can do a lot of different things. He's got good size, good length, about 6'5", a good outside shooter. A guy takes it to the basket well, and a guy who really passes the ball well. And I think he'll give us a person at that position that can do some different things.
Point guard's important. There's number 5 and number 10, Lance Beckwith and DJ Slifer, and there's Dominique Newton. That's a position where you've got some experience.
Yeah, those. I think going into this, we'll probably go with Widget Washington and Lance Beckwith. Kind of sharing that position with Dominique Newton helping out, and probably play DJ a little bit more at the off guard along with John Gillum there. You just saw him make a jump shot, newcomer, and Dominique Newton will kind of play both positions.
There's Reggie Stallings. Great to have Reggie back. Reggie, of course, injured in Game 2 last year and has fought his way a long way back for a senior season.
Well, high energy guy and a guy that I really think that we're bringing him off the bench right now just because he gives us the energy and the defensive presence that we need, and we feel like that when we bring him in the game that he even makes us better sometimes. So, but great job of rehabbing, and good to have him back on the floor.
Again, we're looking at some practice footage from earlier this week. We'll see number 11 in there at times, and you mentioned Widget earlier, number 12. We'll see him in the highlights too. Those guys were both all-conference last year. Do you expect their roles to be similar or different as a senior group?
Well, I think they'll be similar. I think Dominique Long will be a guy who, he's a guy who can score the basketball. He's a guy that can do some different things, not only around the basket, he can step out and shoot the three-pointer. I would see him scoring points, and I would see Widget scoring points, and Charles Hamrick. I think those guys. I think a big key to our team is going to be, can we get some inside presence? And we did a year ago. There's Alex Dean jamming one home, and it's pretty much he and Matt Webb now. And a year ago we got 20 points and 12 rebounds out of that position, and I think if we can repeat that, I think we'll be a pretty good team.
And Dean and Webb, it seems, as you break it down and look at it,
as far as those guys go, maybe as far as this team goes, their abilities on the inside?
Well, it's important. It's important not only that they score or they make plays, not necessarily score, but their defense is going to be important. And if I had to say what is our weakness right now, I would have to say post defense. And it's not always their fault. It's everybody else has got to help also. So I think it's a team deal, and I think it's something we really are going to have to get better at.
We mentioned a lot of the veterans and the 8 seniors, a couple of them right there. There's Dean, 24, and DJ, number 10, and then Widget out there at number 12. Reggie in the background, that's Dean with the rebound. But you've got several newcomers as well. We mentioned Charles a little bit. You mentioned Gillum. You've got some guys I know you expect, despite having 8 seniors, to step in here and play for this team.
Well, I think Charles will contribute right away, and I think John will contribute right away. Those 2 guys have kind of come in and gotten comfortable quicker, maybe. Another young man I feel really good about is Ryan Magjash. Ryan's from Johnson County Community College and Blue Valley High School, and he struggled a little bit early. He was hurt. He hurt his wrist, and he couldn't shoot very well, and that's one of his strengths. He can really shoot the basketball. So I look for him to emerge more here in the next 2 or 3 or 4 weeks as he gets more comfortable. And then a couple other guys, Garrett Sambodi, a big 6'7" guy out of Lee Summit West, and Preston Bruns, Bryce Bruns' brother, junior college transfer from Kirkwood, Iowa. Those 2 guys are going to redshirt, and I really think it's going to help them. I'm not so sure they couldn't help us this year, but I think that the redshirt year will get them bigger and stronger, and hopefully they'll be ready to step in and play a lot next season.
Well, you've got an exhibition game Saturday night in Clarksville, Tennessee against the Division I Austin Peay Governors. Of course, your associate head coach, Brad Luce, his dad, Dave, the longtime head coach and AD there at Austin Peay. Great game, I think, for both programs. I know particularly for your team to be able to go down there and face off against good D1 competition.
Well, we're looking forward to it. The game is always a very well-played game, intense game. 2 teams that are kind of similar. We kind of do the same things. The game has always been good for us because I think it's shown our guys that when they go to the next level to play, just how hard they have to play and how intently they have to play. The Austin Peay's always got a good, solid team. We're looking forward to going down, playing in front of a crowd, away from home, getting a chance to travel, kind of getting used to it because we're actually busing down there, and we've never bussed before. We've always flown down there, but because of the way our schedule sets up this year, we go to Nebraska-Kearney, we go to Central Oklahoma, we go to Fort Hays. We thought it would be good it's an exhibition game, so this is a good chance to get your routine set and everything. So we decided to jump on the bus and head down to Clarksville, and I think our guys are excited to be playing too. And
it couldn't work out any better for you from a coaching standpoint in that you play this game on Saturday, November 3rd against Austin Peay, and then you have a week to break down what went well, maybe what you need to improve as you prepare for the season opener on November 10th at home against Webster.
Well, as spread out as our schedule is, we play a game Saturday, a game next Saturday, a game 2 weeks from Saturday, and then 3 weeks from Saturday. So, we're going to have a lot of practice time, which is good. It gives us a chance, I think, to continue to build on what we've started, to figure out what we're doing wrong, what we need to work harder at. And so I'm hoping that by the time we get to, in a couple of weeks, that we're further along than we are now. Maybe we put in some things that we've never done before just because of the experience factor. Because once the 1st of December here gets, December 5th, I think we go to Hayes or somewhere in that range. They weren't playing bang, bang, bang quite a bit. And then once we get into January and February, it's pretty much twice a week. So hopefully we can kind of build up to what we need to do.
Again, the Mules will tip off the regular season next Saturday, November 10th at 3:30 against Webster. The Gorlocks coming into the multi-purpose building. That'll actually be a 1:30, 3:30 doubleheader with the Jennies on Saturday, November 10th. On Thursday, November 8th, you'll be in your hometown of Sedalia, Missouri for an event for UCM alumni and friends. A talk with Coach A down at Fitter's 5th Street Pub in Sedalia, sponsored by your good friend Ken Wymath and WK Chevrolet Buick Cadillac and GMC. Kyle Wymath, of course, former Mule great, and a chance to go to your hometown and talk it over with a lot of interested Mules fans.
Well, yeah, I don't know how much talking I'll do. I guess I'll do a little bit of talking, but you know, I think what it is, I think it's really an opportunity for. We have a lot of great fans in that area, and it's an opportunity for the fans to come out to Fitter's 5th Street Pub downtown and enjoy the camaraderie and get to be with other Mule fans. And I think it's also good for our university. I know we partnered with the Alumni Association to have Central graduates and friends and fans and everybody just come down there. So I hope we have a big crowd, because certainly it's a lot of fun for me to go down there and see a lot of old friends and get the opportunity to talk about our basketball team, because we do have a lot of great fans in that area.
Would ask that if you're going to attend that event in Sedalia, please RSVP ucmo.edu/Sedalia. Call 543-8000 or 543-8396. Let us know. Need to have a food count for our friends at the Fitter's 5th Street Pub in downtown Sedalia for next Thursday night. When you do come home and play Webster on November 10th, the multi is going to look a little different. There's a 4-sided video board, which because of the size of the multi really is about as big as any video board you'll see in any college arena. You've got the new LED scores table on one side. We'll have the other refurbished scores table on the other side. It's kind of a big time atmosphere for your guys to play in.
Well, I know they're excited, and yeah, I know that the opportunity to play in that type of venue and that type of environment will be great. And when we play Webster, that'll be a reunion with former graduate assistant coach Landon Kurz, who's now the assistant coach there at Webster, so you can kind of figure out how the game got scheduled. Coach Luce and Coach Kurz were pretty tight, so you know, the arena looks great. The new scoreboard's fantastic. The LED board's spectacular. I know they've been doing some things over there even today, getting ready for an event tonight. So it should be a lot of fun, and you know, I just hope we have some big crowds this year. I hope we have. We've always had great support. We're looking forward to having not only hopefully doing well in the MIAA and basketball, but also hopefully getting back up there in the top in the attendance ranks too. So hopefully have a great crowd for these early games.
Thanks for the chat. We'll talk again next week.
All right, thanks, Jonesy.
In just a moment on Sports Page, we'll take a look at a new partnership between UCM Athletics, the Department of Communication and Sociology, and KMOS-TV that gives UCM students hands-on experience in the field of sports broadcasting. That's next here on KMOS-TV.
This fall on PBS, they had come to the far edge of the Great Plains in search of a new beginning, in the last place in America where a family could claim a homestead and build a future.
We had the best crop that we had had in 1929, and everything was looking up.
A sea of grass, once the domain of Indians and buffalo, disappeared beneath the blade of a plow.
I saw the whole country transformed in the sunset glow. All the brown prairie turned to gold.
But then, it was as if the land rejected them. The rains stopped, and the winds came.
We saw this cloud coming in, black, black dirt. And I'll never forget my grandmother. She said, "You kids run and get together, the end of the world's coming."
It came like a black wall, a tide of destruction that crashed over the broken plains, choking the life out of everything in its path.
You never really escaped the dust. It always found its way in, and that's, I think, what drove people crazy.
Some would pull up stakes and move on, but most stayed, always looking to the promise that next year would be better.
We were just too selfish, and we were trying to make money, and it didn't work out.
Ken Burns tells the story of a generation that was buried and what it took to dig out. the Dust Bowl.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
The UCM Media Network teams students with staffers from KMOS-TV, UCM Athletics, and the Department of Communication and Sociology. Together, they produce a live webcast of UCM athletic events. Their camera shots are also seen on the university's new video scoreboards.
You can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. And by taking advantage of incredibly wonderful classes and the academic experience, and then coupling that with hands-on experience here at KMOS, gives these kids the opportunity to learn every facet of it.
Offering a student-produced live webcast of UCM athletics events has been a long-time dream of Dr. Joe Moore.
We got started whenever we were able to purchase the TriCaster and all the component pieces to be able to do live broadcasting of sporting events, because we have the best Division II athletic conference in the nation, have one of the best Division II athletic programs in the country, and we want to be able to showcase that. We give our kids an excellent opportunity to get their hands on these pieces of equipment and do live events, and we are able to provide kind of a community service.
While UCM Mules football players are preparing for their home opener, UCM communication students are sharpening their skills in preparation for the first webcast of the 2012 Mules football season.
Honestly, it's unbelievable. I was a freshman last year, and I started this class at the end of that semester, of spring semester, and the amount that I've learned is crazy. I feel like I'm light years ahead of where I'm supposed to be.
Every role is important, and it's a good idea for everyone to do every position possible, just because, you'll probably start like most people. You start towards the bottom and you work your way up.
Whether getting advice from UCM's Voice of the Mules, Sean Jones, or working with Dorothy McGrath, a veteran of many Division I national sports broadcasts, UCM students are gaining invaluable experience.
I keep telling them everything that we did in Division I, everything we did for ABC or Fox or ESPN is the same exact experience that they're getting right here. Everything they're able to do right here, they're going to be able to take that, put together a resume reel, and be able to get a job out there at whatever sports network they want to work for.
Using pre-produced video segments, live camera shots, and animated graphics, the new video scoreboard is a big hit with Walton Stadium Kennedy Field crowds. Thanks to the worldwide reach of the internet, Moore says the webcasts are bringing UCM athletics to alumni, fans, and friends who are unable to attend in person.
I had a young lady from Utah that played softball for us, and she wrote me a very, very nice note that her grandmother had never gotten to see her play in college, and she was able to pull it up and watch the game, called her in tears saying how exciting it was for her. Those are the kinds of things, that's why I do what I do.
One of the things that we all do is we make mistakes, and they're in an environment that is safe enough that if they make a mistake, it's okay. We have people there who are always going to be there to pick them up, help them figure out what went wrong, and go forward. And that's really what learning is all about.
When I go back and look at it now, I can't help but feel a little pride, not in me, but in our kids, in our department, and the support we've gotten from the college, all the way up to the president, and the support we've gotten from everybody, and what we've been able to produce.
The partnership between UCM Athletics, KMOS-TV, and the UCM Media Network is providing hands-on experience for UCM students who are really the next generation of broadcasting professionals, while also giving our fans at the games and those who watch online an entertaining and informative show. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as SportsPage rolls on after this timeout.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Mr. Platt is taking a ladyship and Lady Grantham down to the village. She wondered if you'd like to go in.
After all that we've been through together, Bates and I owe him my loyalty!
The PBS Masterpiece Classic hit Downton Abbey is coming to Columbia. On December 16th, KMOS-TV is hosting a special screening of Downton Abbey Season 3 at the Mecklenburg Playhouse on the campus of Stevens College in Columbia. The screening is free, but space is limited, so call 1-800-753-3436 now to reserve your seats for this very special screening. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Judy Woodruff. On election night, PBS NewsHour is your trusted source for in-depth news, analysis, and results. On air, online, and on the go. Together with the rest of the NewsHour politics team, Gwen Ifill, Mark Shields, David Brooks, and Christina Bellantoni. We'll bring you analysis and results throughout the evening. So tune in to PBS NewsHour, your election night headquarters.
Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And we're back for one final time to put the finishing touches on Sports Page this week. But before we do, let's check out what's happening with the Mules and Jennies this coming week. And we start with the Mules football team, the 5-4 Mules, closing out the 2012 season Saturday at Fort Hays State. Kickoff is set for 2 o'clock Saturday from Hays, Kansas. We'll have that for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, 90.9 The Bridge, and via the internet and via your iPhones at warrensburgradio.com. In other MIAA games this week, 25th ranked Washburn is at 11th ranked Missouri Western. 20th ranked Emporia State is at number 4 Northwest Missouri State in the MIAA TV game of the week. Southwest Baptist at Central Oklahoma. Lincoln is at Northeastern State. Lindenwood is in the Jungle to take on 18th ranked Pittsburgh State. Truman is at Missouri Southern, and Nebraska-Kearney is at South Dakota Mines in non-conference action. The 6th ranked Jennies volleyball team will host Missouri Western in conference play Friday night at 7 at the Multi. That is senior night, the senior ceremony to follow the match. Then Saturday, the Jennies will be in Kirksville for a huge match with both conference and regional implications as they take on 15th ranked Truman. That's 3 o'clock Saturday in Kirksville. The MIAA champion and 12th ranked Jennies soccer team is hosting the MIAA tournament semifinals and finals on Friday and Sunday at South Rec. Friday at 3 p.m., the Jennies will host Northeastern State in one semifinal match. Fort Hays State Central Oklahoma will face off at 6 p.m. in the other semifinal. The championship match of the MIAA tournament will take place at 1 p.m. on Sunday. Best of luck to the Mules and Jennies cross-country teams as they'll compete in the NCAA Central Regional Saturday. Races begin at 10 a.m. down in Joplin on the Missouri Southern campus. The Mules basketball team will be in Clarksville, Tennessee Saturday night to take on Division I Austin P, the Governors. That's an exhibition game. Tip-off Saturday set for 7:30 p.m. from the Dunn Center in Dave Luce Court. And we'll have the broadcast for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, warrensburgradio.com, and 90.9 The Bridge. And Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson will be at Fitter's 5th Street Pub in downtown Sedalia Thursday night for a talk with Coach A as he previews the upcoming season. The event held from 6 to 8 at Fitter's 5th Street Pub in Sedalia next Thursday night. The event is sponsored by WK Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, and GMC in Sedalia. To RSVP, please go to ucmo.edu/Sedalia or call 543-8000. And with that, we conclude this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. Hope you enjoyed the show. We invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies. In the meantime, you can always keep up with the Mules and Jennies on our website, ucmathletics.com. Until next week, for our entire crew, this is Sean Jones saying thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV.
Support for SportsPage is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, crossroads to technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, crossroads to technology. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.